Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and we've got a bit of breaking news here because the EU have made a statement via Commission President von der Leyen to make it clear their intention to take the UK to court over the internal market bill, which is a breach of the withdrawal agreement. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So it has kicked off. The internal market bill has, of course, been cleared by the Commons. The government may well be playing it as a negotiating card. Indeed, Boris Johnson has said as much. I described how that works in my last video. I'll touch on it again here. But the current stated position of the government is that they are still fully supporting it, including the aspects which seek to unilaterally rewrite the withdrawal agreement and break international law. So the situation, as far as the government are concerned, is if this had passed quickly and easily through Parliament, it could already be law right now in Britain and therefore have broken international law. Now, the EU gave Boris Johnson until the end of September to remove the offending clauses. He did not. It is now October. It is after September. But then you knew this. I'm just saying that for the Brexiteers. Now, the last time I talked about this, the reports from the EU side suggested that they wouldn't make an immediate announcement. So I was surprised by this immediate announcement. The reasoning was that they weren't sure what was the best course of action. Do they take the UK to the European Court of Justice, or do they seek arbitration? Which is the best? The UK could, of course, choose to ignore in either case, but you know that would still there would still be consequences. But which was the best one? Now, the thing is, I suppose on the other hand, of course, there's finely balanced politics here, and this is entirely political. The EU gave a deadline. That deadline has passed. Now, if the EU made no statement at all, just a wait and see, then their deadline would be ridiculed in exactly the same way that Boris Johnson has been ridiculed when his deadlines have come and gone and the EU haven't budged. If they made a non-committal statement simply threatening legal action at some point in the future, then it may still seem a bit toothless. So politically, to avoid any doubts about their resolve, it seems they've decided to actually take the first step, because it takes time anyway. Legal action takes time. So now they've made that first step. Ursula von der Leyen made a statement concerning plans to take the UK to court. A letter of formal notice is to be sent by the Commission to the UK government, and they will give Boris Johnson 1 month to respond. This, of course, is the first step of pre-legal action that has to take place in all such proceedings. Now, there's an awful lot of hubbub on social media concerning the consequences of this. Various legal experts, and they are experts, pointing out, well, this is what happens when you make and then break international treaties, and Boris Johnson is about to see the consequences of that. I do not believe that Boris Johnson will be concerned. I'm not saying that he might not be concerned later on, but right now he won't be. And let me explain why I think this is the case. There are 5 things that will be going through Boris Johnson's head now. Plenty of room for them. The first one is Boris Johnson's intention with the internal market bill, particularly the clauses relating to the withdrawal agreement. He has said the way he got his MPs to back it is he said that this is a negotiating chip. He will never actually have to go through with them. He will absolutely be removing these clauses as soon as he gets his free trade agreement. He's doing this to show the EU that he's serious. That's what it's about. And again, I talked about this before. The timing of this is as follows. It isn't law yet. It has not passed into UK law. It's going to go through the House of Lords. The House of Lords, he's not going to rush the House of Lords. They're not going to let this thing go through with those clauses in place. He intends to get the free trade agreement and then remove the clauses. The second thing he'll be considering, right, he's been given a month by the EU. That is plenty of time for him to get the deal. Indeed, he has to get the deal by the end of this month. Otherwise, there's no time to ratify it by the end of the year. So he will be thinking, so if he can get this deal and he can get it past his MPs, he'll just remove the clauses. Indeed, those, as I say, those clauses aren't going to make it through the Lords anyway. So he's not at all concerned about that. No concern whatsoever. The third thing he'll be considering. So before the end of the next deadline, he thinks a Brexit deal will be agreed. He's now made it clear by backing down on the fishing issue that he does want a deal and he believes he can get a deal. He was just deliberately pissing about all year, as we sort of suspected, and at the last minute he's now going to agree to everything and sell it back home as a great victory, and he held out to the last moment, and he'll say the EU back down. So he thinks he's going to have his Brexit deal. He can remove the clauses, everyone's happy. Even the EU, there's no issue, everyone's happy. The US are happy, he can carry on getting his trade deal with the US as well. 4, in the meantime, he can carry on talking tough about the prospect of facing legal action, rallying the gammons to his banner. No, legal action doesn't scare me. This letter, I'm not even going to respond to this letter, he will say. And then the 5th thing is, when the deal is agreed, Johnson will get to claim his victory and say that, he'd have ignored the legal action anyway, and the EU backs down, and because it would be in the EU courts anyway, if they'd have actually taken it to court, he wouldn't care anyway. He's not going to care about what the European Court of Justice thinks. He'd completely ignore their judgment, and that's all there is to it. And then the EU, from their point of view, would also get to claim that they'd started legal action, they'd have absolutely gone through it, had Johnson not removed the clauses. So then they, back home, would also claim victory. Both sides get to claim victory with their own supporters. Perfect political solution. Now, that is how Boris Johnson will see it playing out. I'm not saying that's how it will play out, because we have to take a look at the specific action. A lot of people will not understand this. A lot of people will think, for example, that the legal issue is the rewriting of the withdrawal agreement, and the bill hasn't been passed. It's passed through the Commons, but it isn't in UK law yet. So the treaty hasn't been rewritten in UK law. So people will be thinking, well, isn't this legal action a bit premature? Because if it's blocked by the Lords, it'll not be put into law. Not yet anyway. Shouldn't they wait for that? It has already broken the withdrawal agreement, even before being put into law. This initial pre-legal action doesn't concern the rewriting of the treaty as such. It concerns the so-called good faith clauses in Article 4 and 5 of the withdrawal agreement. By getting this bill through the Commons, Boris Johnson has already breached the withdrawal agreement because he is not acting in good faith. He is stating, whether he's done it yet or not is irrelevant, he is stating his intention, his serious intention, because he's using UK parliamentary time for it, his serious intention to rewrite the treaty unilaterally without the agreement of the other side. He is not acting in good faith. Absolutely not. So he's already broken the treaty, already, without this ever getting onto the UK statute books. So then we think, so when it becomes law, then that's another part broken. There'll be another part of the treaty broken then, the part that everyone is fixated on right now. So when it does get onto the or if it gets onto the statute books, that will just mean another part is broken. But one part has already been breached. So then you think to yourself, so okay, this is how it's playing in Johnson's head. What happens if he doesn't get his deal? Because we're into the end game now. What happens if it doesn't happen? Either because he misjudges what he can get away with the EU, because so far the EU are quite happy with his backing down over the fishing rights, but there's still some things to sort out. It's not done. What if there's something else that he thinks he can pull back just enough on, and it's not just enough for the EU? Then he won't get his deal. Or what if he does agree with the EU, but he misjudges what he can get away with his own backbenchers? What if they don't accept it? Again, there will still be no deal, and then the full legal consequences will proceed. But for now, this is all finely balanced politics on both sides. Make no mistake, this announcement from von der Leyen today was also political. If there's a deal, then all of this rhetoric and legal action will be dropped. It will go away. None of it will ever have to be pursued. But then if it's not, then we are going to have much more than a no-deal Brexit to deal with in a few months' time. We will also have legal action from the EU. And given that we'll already be economically knackered from a no-deal Brexit and COVID, to be facing potential sanctions from the EU on top of that as well. And of course, the US will not touch us for trade talks either. They have made that clear. Republicans have been tweeting, making that clear as well. There have been Republicans stating that America has a legal duty to defend the Good Friday Agreement, making it again clear this isn't about senators refusing a trade deal with the UK. Republicans will as well. But anyway, that is the situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.